Welcome! If you're watching this screencast, you're interested in learning about community and school-based 18 to 21 services in Denver Public Schools for your teen with an IEP. A question parents often ask is, how do I know if 18 to 21 programming is right for my teen? In Colorado, students with disabilities are eligible to receive services through the end of the semester that they turn 21. To make this decision of if they should receive these services, if after 4 years of high school, a student has mastered the skills they need to accomplish their post-school goals in education and training, career and employment, and independent living, the student does not need these additional services. However, if the student's gap between their current level of skills and the level they would need to accomplish their post-school goals is big enough, they may want to have additional services and continue working on their skill level in the areas of academics, maybe transportation, independent living, employment, social skills, whatever skills they would need to achieve their post-school goals. Many students with disabilities have not mastered all of these skills that they need to accomplish their goals after 4 years of high school. And so considering 18 to 21 programming, whether it is community-based or school-based, is something that should be discussed with the case manager and the IEP team. 18 to 21 programming should look different from a teen's high school experience. So how will it look different? Well, it depends on the type of services. If the IEP team decides that school building-based 18 to 21 services are appropriate, they would often look similar to high school. They should include, however, community-based services and community-based activities. For community-based 18 to 21 services, all of the classes and activities take place away from high school buildings. In community-based 18 to 21 transition services, the program does not provide 35 hours of services Monday through Friday from 7 to 3. This is very different from a typical high school. Classes meet 1 to 2 days a week for an hour. Some meet for up to 6 to 7 hours if they're working on community access. In community-based 18 to 21 services, students are trained to use RTD. This takes longer for some students than for others. Students are given a monthly bus pass from September to May and are expected to get from home to school and back independently in the community-based 18 to 21 services. School-based services should have a component of training students to use public transportation or the transportation that they would be using as an adult. For community-based 18 to 21 services, if a student is not able to safely use public transportation, they may not be appropriate for these community-based services, and so school-based services should be looked at. If community-based 18 to 21 programming sounds like what would be best for your teen, know that if they're enrolled in a charter school, they are eligible. All DPS students, including charter school students, are eligible for 18 to 21 services. To enroll into community-based services, at the student's 9th grade IEP, the case manager should talk to you about the post-school goals and the levels of skills those goals will require. The case manager should have assessment data to see where the student is currently functioning and start to talk about 18 to 21 services as an option if that looks like it will make sense for your child. Assessments can look like the test of adult basic education, AccuPlacer, the SAT or the ACT, an interest inventory called the Career Scope, an assessment called the Casey Life Skills Assessment. All of these things should happen during 9th through 12th grade to get an idea of the student's current skills. By 10th or 11th grade, if it seems like the student will not have mastered the skills necessary to accomplish their post-school goals by the end of their senior year, a discussion of 18 to 21 services should begin taking place. That discussion should also start to look at whether school-based or community-based services make most sense for your child. In the student's senior year, if the team has decided that community-based 18 to 21 services make more sense, an 18 to 21 case manager should be contacted to discuss the community-based services and whether the student is indeed appropriate. If the student is appropriate, a referral packet must be filled out by May and a registration packet should be filled out. A question that commonly gets asked is if a student will receive their diploma if they enroll in 18 to 21 services. If a student receives 18 to 21 services and the family decides to access these services, whether in the school or community-based setting, the student may walk through the graduation ceremony at their home high school with their peers if they have met the graduation requirements. However, the student will not be coded as a high school graduate in the district's data management system. They will not be reported to the state as a high school graduate. they will be coded as a returning senior. If they decide to do community-based 18 to 21 services, students register at North High School in the fall, and when they complete the 18 to 21 program, in anywhere from 1 semester to 3 years, they are transferred in the computer system back to their home high school and issued a diploma at that time from their home high school. They then receive that diploma in the mail. If a student does decide to enroll in community-based services, there are certain expectations. Students in the community-based 18 to 21 transition program are expected to be able to learn to use public transportation independently. They are expected to attend classes and other activities as scheduled. They are expected to contact adults in charge of the class or activities themselves if they will not be there. Parents should not be contacting teachers or case managers if a student cannot attend. This is the student's responsibility. Students are expected to dress and behave in socially appropriate ways while involved in community-based 18 to 21 transition programming classes or other activities. 18 to 21 services and programming is available if your teen is significantly impacted. All students with disabilities are eligible for 18 to 21 programming. Students that are significantly impacted may not be able to learn to use public transportation independently or may not be able to access public transportation safely. In that case, community-based 18 to 21 services are not appropriate, and 18 to 21 services would be provided in a school building-based setting. The IEP team, which includes the parent and the student, determine what services that the student will receive in the school-based setting. These services should include community-based activities. If 18 to 21 services and programming seems interesting to you or something that would benefit your teen, you'll want to know what kind of services are offered. A focus of both 18 to 21 community-based transition programming and school-based transition programming is that the student is independently functioning in a variety of areas. And those areas are the ones that make sense for the student and their skills. The community-based 18 to 21 transition programming offers classes focused on cooking, money, recreation, transportation, and socialization. School-based 18 to 21 services should also include programming that addresses these areas. 18 to 21 programming should help with job skills, whether that looks like paid employment or volunteer employment. Under the law, schools are charged with job readiness, and Department of Vocational Rehabilitation is charged with job placement. 18 to 21 services offers job readiness classes, whether it's community-based or school-based. One of the best ways to learn job skills is to be in a work setting. And both community-based 18 to 21 services and school-based 18 to 21 services begin students in unpaid volunteer work sites. Community-based 18 to 21 services have access to a limited number of paid internship positions, and if a student is working well in an unpaid volunteer site but is not quite ready for competitive employment, the 18 to 21 community-based services will set them up with a paid internship. School-based 18 to 21 services also have access to paid internships through the Career Engage internship program. In the 18 to 21 community-based services, job coaches often work with students to write a resume, fill out job applications, and they support interview skills during a time called mentoring time. School-based services would provide services that look like this, but in the context of the school that your student is attending for 18 to 21 services. 18 to 21 services do provide academic instruction. In the community-based 18 to 21 program, there are a wide variety of classes, including reading and math classes. School-based 18 to 21 services will also have these offerings. In community-based 18 to 21 services, if students have a goal of attending technical or community college, they may be eligible for a limited number of college or post-secondary classes paid for through concurrent enrollment. 18 to 21 community-based services also offers classes ranging from job readiness to fitness, self-defense, independent living, using technology, arts, and crafts. 18 to 21 community-based services also offers groups run by social workers for students that have mental health needs. It includes traditional talk therapy, art therapy, and equine therapy, which is therapy with horses. School-based 18 to 21 services will offer a lot of these types of classes, but in a more traditional school-based setting, or with community-based activity partners like nonprofits, recreation centers, or the community center board programs through Rocky Mountain Human Services or developmental pathways. Classes should also include connecting to adult service agencies and being a self-advocate for those adult services. In 18 to 21 community-based services, students are grouped by case managers. These case managers meet with students to discuss 3 pieces of information: post-school goals, the level of skills that those post-school goals require, and what skills the student currently has mastered. Once the case manager has identified that information for 18 to 21 community-based services, a schedule is developed for each student based on their goals, current level of functioning, and how to close the skill gap. Students are grouped in 18 to 21 community-based services on interest, functioning level, and need. School-based 18 to 21 services may look different. You will need to talk to your case manager about how services are organized for students in school-based 18 to 21 services. 18 to 21 services, whether community-based or school-based, should collaborate with community-based services. Students are transitioning into adult life, and that doesn't happen in a school building or just with school services, regardless of if they are in 18 to 21 community-based services or 18 to 21 school-based services. You should see collaboration with adult service agencies. The agencies that the community-based 18 to 21 services and school-based 18 to 21 services collaborate with include Rocky Mountain Human Services, Mental Health Center of Denver, the Workforce Development Center, the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, and the School to Work Alliance program, and disability services offered at local community colleges, Metro State University, and the University of Colorado. If getting a job is a goal of your teen, know that under the law, schools are charged with job readiness, and Department of Vocational Rehabilitation is charged with job placement for people with disabilities. 18 to 21 services, whether in school buildings or community-based 18 to 21 services, have access to a limited number of paid internship positions, and if they see a student is working well at an unpaid volunteer site but is not quite ready for competitive employment, they may be asked to apply for a paid internship. You may have heard about the School to Work Alliance program, whether it was just in this presentation when I talked about Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, or maybe it was through your child's case manager at school. You may wonder, is SWAP connected to 18 to 21 programming? Community-based 18 to 21 programming has a very strong link with the School to Work Alliance program. This is because the School to Work Alliance program, or SWAP, is a joint Denver Public Schools and Department Vocational Rehabilitation program. It focuses on students with mild or moderate needs, and the focus of services is job readiness and job placement. Because of this link between the community-based 18 to 21 program and SWAP, they share many students and work together to prepare students for employment, look for job placement, and support students once they have found a job. If a student receives 18 to 21 services in a school-based setting, SWAP may not be appropriate for them, but SWAP can certainly connect them with the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, and the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation would be your teen's partner in supporting job readiness and job placement. You may be wondering, how will my child get to 18 to 21 programming? Students in school-based 18 to 21 services often receive yellow school bus transportation to and from the high school building where they receive their 18 to 21 services. Students in community-based 18 to 21 services are taught to safely use public transportation and are expected to use RTD to access classes, work sites, and social activities as a part of the program. Immigration status does not matter for enrollment in 18 to 21 services, whether it is your teen's immigration status or a family member's immigration status. Any Denver Public School student with an individual education plan through special education is eligible for 18 to 21 services, whether they are community-based services or school-based services, regardless of their immigration status. However, students in 18 to 21 services, whether community-based or school-based, may not be eligible to receive services from various adult service agencies because of immigration status. But case managers will work with the teen and the family to find alternatives to support their transition into adulthood. That was a lot of information. Please refer to the screencast transcript provided on the Family Empowerment website where you saw this video. It has written down all of the information that was covered in this screencast. Do not hesitate to contact your teen's case manager if community or school-based 18 to 21 services seem like the right fit for your student to achieve their goals for after high school.